Hunter McRae hadn't spoken to another soul in 137 days. The count was scratched in the cabin wall just above the stove, where the fire never stopped burning. Up here in the Wyoming highlands, time passed like molasses, slow, quiet, and heavy with ghosts. He wasn't always a hermit. Once, he'd been a ranch hand with a grin girls would swoon for in a temper that could break a man's jaw in a blink. But war, betrayal, and the loss of his little brother to a crooked sheriff had stolen his fire. So he built a cabin with his own hands, planted his own food, and let the world below forget he ever lived. Until she came. It was a cold spring evening, the last flakes of winter swirling through the pines when Hunter heard a soft knock, so faint he thought it might be the wind. Then came the second, firmer. He grabbed his rifle, cracked open the door, and his heart froze. A woman stood there, barely conscious, wrapped in a threadbare coat, 2 small children clutched to her sides. The boy couldn't have been more than 5. The girl was a mirror of her brother, barely awake, cheeks blue with cold. Then the woman collapsed in his arms. Chapter 2. The stranger with fire in her eyes. He laid her on his bed and warmed the twins by the hearth. He fed them hot broth while she slept for nearly 2 days. Her cheeks regained color. Her cracked lips twitched with words in her dreams. Words like run, please, and hide. When she finally opened her eyes, they were green like wet grass after a storm, and filled with fire. "I'm sorry," she croaked. "I didn't mean to bring trouble." "You brought twins, half dead, and no horse. That ain't trouble. That's desperation," Hunter replied, his voice gravel-thick and calm. "Name?" "Caroline," she said, sitting up slowly. "Caroline Mercer. Those are my children, Eli and Emma." Hunter nodded. "What were you running from?" Her eyes shifted to the window, where snow still blanketed the porch. "A man, the kind who thinks he owned people. My husband died 3 winters ago. We lived near Calico Ridge. I cleaned and sewed to survive. Then Marshal Dent came to collect his taxes. When I had no money, he said I could pay another way." Hunter's jaw clenched. He knew Dent, a land baron hiding behind a tin star. "He hurt you." She lifted her sleeve, revealing bruises like ink stains up her arm. "He said if I ever left, he'd find me, take the twins, raise them to forget me." Hunter said nothing. He simply added another log to the fire. Chapter 3. The cabin becomes a home. In the weeks that followed, the cold faded and with it some of the pain inside Hunter's chest. The twins laughed like sunlight and Caroline moved through his cabin with grace, sewing curtains, boiling stew, humming lullabies that made him close his eyes and remember his mother. He taught Eli how to whittle. Emma followed him like a shadow, trying to ride his boot as if it were a pony. Caroline repaired his shirts, planted herbs by the window, and cleaned parts of the house he'd long forgotten existed. Still, they never spoke of Dent. Not until the dog barked. It was late May when his old buckshot began to growl toward the ridge. Hunter looked through his scope and saw a rider, one of Dent's men. The mark on the saddle was clear, a black snake over a red sun. He had found them. Chapter 4. The Reckoning. Caroline turned pale when she saw the saddle mark. "He sent trackers." Hunter's voice was steady. "He'll come himself next." That night, he saddled his stallion and rode through the dark. In Calico Ridge, he found the marshal in the saloon, drunk and loud. "You got no claim on that woman," Hunter said as he walked in, his coat still dusted with snow. Dent smirked. "You sheltering runaways now, McRae. She's a free woman. You touch her or those kids, I'll bury you in that badge." A hush fell over the saloon. Dent rose slowly. "I got law on my side." Hunter didn't flinch. "And I got a dozen ranchers who remember your brand on their bonds. Keep pushing, Dent, and I'll haul your secrets into the light." Dent's laughter died in his throat. Hunter turned and walked out. Chapter 5, Ashes and Blood. He returned at dawn, but something was wrong. Smoke curled above the trees. His cabin. Hunter raced a stallion, heart pounding like thunder. When he arrived, flames lit the roof and the twins screamed from inside. Caroline was fighting Dent's man with a fireplace poker. Her dress torn, cheek bruised. Hunter shot the man in the thigh, then dragged the children out while the roof caved. He carried them to the spring, doused the flames on Caroline's back, held her as she sobbed. I tried to protect them. I tried. I know, he whispered, pressing his forehead to hers. You're the bravest woman I've ever known. They lost everything in the fire, except each other. Chapter 6, Redemption on the Frontier. The town came together once word spread. Dent's man confessed under pressure. Testimonies came from women and farmers and ranchers who had been blackmailed by Dent for years. Within days, a circuit judge stripped Dent of his badge and sentenced him to 20 years hard labor. Hunter rebuilt the cabin with help from the town. This time, it had a bigger table, a swing for the twins, a sewing room for Caroline. He asked her to stay. I've got nothing left, she said one morning as the sun broke over the trees. He knelt, holding her hands. You've got a man who'd die for you, 2 kids who already love you, and a home that don't breathe right without you in it. Tears slid down her cheeks. Then I'll stay, forever, if you'll have me. Chapter 7, A Future Forged in Fire. A year later, the pines sang with spring again. The rebuilt cabin echoed with laughter and warmth. Caroline wore a silver band on her finger, and Hunter smiled more than he scowled. Eli called him Pa now. Emma braided his hair when he napped on the porch. At night, when the stars glimmered through the open window, Caroline would curl into his arms and whisper, You saved us. And every time, Hunter would answer with the same quiet truth. No, darling. You saved me first.